speak. And but hey, I guess I'm going to have to side with Rick today on you so far, Randy. You want to hear what I got to say?
What have I got? What have I done today? So go ahead. Tell me what I've done today.
Oh, these poor old people over here like me, we don't drive no BMWs. Dang, you must have did good for yourself. I
Well,
mean,
this is your
yeah.
chance to, Rick. Go down there and try and win it. This is your chance. Right?
No.
It's like
Listen, old
Carlton
folks,
said,
like,
Rick. It's like Carlton said. This is the car that you dream about. This is not the car that you necessarily, unless you
but you
walked
can't.
into a bunch of
No,
money, that you're going to go out and buy. That's why.
No, I ain't
That's
gonna
that's
do
that's the
that,
game of
Randy.
chance that you're taking, so to speak.
I'm not gonna do that. You didn't win that game by chance. You went out there and got you one of them BMWs.
Well, that
Back
was
in the
about
day.
20 plus years ago. So it's been a long time since I.
Heck, you should have been doing. You was doing good back then.
Well, I don't know if I was doing good back then, but I just know that they had a sweet lease program that I was able to take advantage of that uh, was as
Hey,
affordable as
but
any car I've driven.
I'm gonna be on Rick's Saturday. Up there in Northwest Arkansas. But we don't do that, Rick. Over here in East Arkansas, we don't do that. The
Well, I
common
relate
people,
to Johnny Rivers' song, The Poor Side of Town. That's what I relate to.
and there'll be some more sports talk, I know, later this summer. But yeah, that's my crazy comments. I agree with Rick, Randy. I said, ooh, he's doing good. Randy doing good.
And he's doing good. That's right.
Okay, I'll let y'all go. That's just so
Okay.
fun.
All right, Rick. Thank you.
You guys are offering him a chance to win one, but he refuses.
I know.
Right? I mean, if you've never driven one, there's your chance.
Well, I don't know that they would let you drive it unless you actually owned it. Now you could go to the BMW dealership, and if they have one in stock, you could drive that one. But I mean, I've already offered multiple times. Would you like me to take it out and just drive around Pine Bluff? I could even probably stretch its legs out, so to speak, and take it to Little Rock, make a little circle back here to Pine Bluff. But they ran with the keys in the opposite direction, which I'm setting. So I think that tells you something right there that this is reserved for the person who wins it tomorrow night, not for me. But um, I'm sure you. Pardon me, Rick. And I asked this the other day, and maybe you know the answer to this. Has there been a baseball player who has been at the University of Arkansas to be as decorated as what Hagen Smith has been this season?
Yeah, Andrew Benintendi.
He won the
He won all
Golden
the
Spikes.
awards.
That's the one award that I know
He
for
won the Golden Spikes and the Dick Hauser.
Dick
Made the
Hauser.
All-America team. He was the SEC Player of the Year. Kevin Kopps won both of those awards, the national awards. So, yes. But now Hagen Smith is, I don't know if there's more All-America teams this year or what, but he's been the National Pitcher of the Year, which again Kopps was. Obviously, Benintendi was the National Player of the Year, not Pitcher of the Year. But that's pretty amazing. So Benintendi last year was 2015. So you're talking about this is 2024. 3 Razorbacks in those 9 years have been incredibly honored.
Well, he made his sixth All-American team today.
Yeah, right. He ain't going to win that. He didn't win the Golden Spikes or the Hauser. He's not going to win the Hauser, but he's gotten everything else, and he's the National Pitcher of the Year. Pretty big deal.
Condon won the of Georgia won the Golden Spikes Award, which really is no surprise. 36, I believe it was 36 home runs.
Yeah, I think it was the 6th most ever.
Yeah, pretty impressive season.
Yeah.
Elwood, good afternoon. Welcome to Drive Time Sports.
Hi, boys.
Good afternoon.
You're playing them on the phone. Sorry about that. I heard a comment about let's call them high dollar sports contracts, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, and I think other sports talk stations around the country sometimes seems to spend an inordinate amount of time on these King Kong contracts, for coaches, players, etc. My comment is your listenership is basically a bunch of blue collar Joe Sixpack sports fans. And the thing is, I personally do not like to hear so much about this because a lot of us can't even take our friends and whatnot to any major league event without going and spending a lot of money. And I think it's almost a sideways insult to us. I don't think you guys, I don't say don't talk about it, but it seems like so many times I've tuned in and this is the subject. And that's really you could cover, that's my comment. It's constructive criticism, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
And also, I don't see why there's other things. We like to hear about sports, the sport, and another thing. I like to cover league senior pickleball, or my favorite, like men's synchronized swimming. Anyway, that I'm serious about the. It is kind of not a lot of those guys want to hear so much about.
Hey, Elwood, when is the watermelon spitting seed contest there in Cave City? When is that?
Well, it'll be during the festival, which is about I think it's whatever Friday the 27th of July or something like this. And your screener said, I said Cave City, he said watermelon country, and coincidentally, this is true. Today was the first day of the registered growers picking for sale, and the first melons sold out like boom, they were gone. The first picking, it usually is not very big, but today was the first day.
Well, that's good. Well, see, you gave us information that's not financial, that's a little bit different. So you did a good job there.
Have you moved from Elm Springs to Cave City, or is Elm Springs a suburb of Cave City?
There's no Elm Springs around here. Right?
I was thinking you were from Elm Springs. My apologies, sir.
No, I'm from
Elm Springs
City.
is by Springdale.
I used to live in Roseville, Minnesota. You know where the hockey players come from? Yeah, I've been down here 23 years.
And you've developed such a southern twang.
Yeah, somewhat. Everybody's got an accent. I affect a lot of that Scandinavian stuff for people. All right.
Very good.
No, go to an important call, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Elwood.
It is. Hey, I get where he's coming from. We do talk about finances a lot because NIL is such a big deal. Transfer portal involves NIL. I don't know that we talk about the big professional contracts that much, other than when one is, stunning, like the Ohtani contract, which is mostly deferred. But I agree. I wish the talk wasn't so much about money. That's why I go to a major league game. I love baseball. I don't think about what any of them are making. I don't care what any of them are making, as long as I enjoy the game. And avoid the concession stands because the prices are high because of what those guys are making. And so, I'd be careful about buying too much there, but it's enjoyable to go and not worry about what their salaries are.
That is Rick Schaefer. I am Randy Rainwater. Today, Saracen Casino. And yes, Rick, it is a BMW Z4 Roadster. Come get the player's card. Start accumulating those points. You may be a winner tomorrow night.
The Summer of Scoops continues Tuesday with Morning Mayhem at Scoops, Little Rock's new homemade ice cream restaurant at the corner of Broadway and 3rd Street in Little Rock.
Going to talk a little bit about food now, folks, at Saracen Casino. There's such an array of restaurants. You got the casual things. You got the sports bar. You got the
Tom,
Red Oak.
You ate at Red Oak last week.
Oh, I did.
Just tell them about that.
Oh, this steakhouse. You've heard us talk about how good it is. It lives up to it exactly. You walk in, you're greeted so nicely. There's a beautiful bar there. We get in, you say, take a look at this menu. You got the Kobe steak options. I opted for a 6-ounce filet done Oscar style. The crab meat, the lump crab meat was as big as my thumb. Fantastic. We had sauteed mushrooms. We had potato puree. We had a strawberry shortcake with a lemon sorbet for dessert.
So dig this. Chef Matthias is the only chef in Arkansas history to be chef of the year in dessert and savory.
Oh.
So if you didn't do dessert, you're not doing it right. There's a reason that's been the best restaurant in Arkansas 3 years in a row. Come eat at Red Oak. Come win a BMW tomorrow night, too.
Coach Kelly joins the zone each Wednesday, presented by the Little Rock Athletic Club and Racket Club. It's pool season. Join today and save 30% off joining fees.
Hi, I'm Hunter Bell. When you think about Bell Chevrolet, we want you to think about family, community, and value. But right now, we also want you to think about Chevy trucks. We are loaded with new Silverados. Whatever you're looking for, we have it ready for you at Bell. Plus, new Tahoes and Suburbans, ready to load up the family for summer. Come see us at Bell Chevrolet, proudly serving Arkansas since 1912. Shop BellChevy.com today. Together, let's drive.
The board-certified, fellowship-trained physicians at Martin Orthopedics provide complete care for students, adults, and athletes. At Martin Orthopedics, the surgeons and staff pay exceptional attention to every patient's needs. When you go to Martin Orthopedics, every member of the team aims to help patients return to their normal daily activities or playing the sport they love without pain. Whether it's your knee, hip, or shoulder, the physicians at Martin Orthopedics stand ready to assist. For more information or to set up your consultation online, go to martinortho.care.
You are spending another Friday afternoon with me and Carlton Saffa here at Saracen Casino. We want to see you here tomorrow night. Remember that. It's the monthly vehicle giveaway. Very special one this month. A brand new BMW Z4 Roadster. Oh, and all that free slot play that you give away before the car.
So, we always kind of go back to basics. It seems like when you and I talk, and let's do that back to basics talk. How do you win a car at Saracen? Step 1, 40 minutes from Little Rock. It's a 46-mile drive down 530. Take exit 46, you're on our land. Or just look for the 300-foot tower cranes building our hotel. Step 2, walk in, turn left. Go to the Players Club. Say, hey, I want to join the Players Club. It's free, and we'll give you free play for doing it. Or if you've been here and played this month, you've already got entries. Step 3, be here tomorrow night at 10. Stick your card in a machine or swipe it at a kiosk. It tells the computer you're there. Wait for your name to be called. Drive home in a BMW. It's it. Come see us at Saracen.
Now, back to Drive Time Sports, live from the Eat My Catfish studios. Eat fresh, eat local, eat my catfish. The #1 sports radio show in Arkansas. Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network.
Welcome back to Drive Time Sports here on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaefer. I'm Randy Rainwater today at Saracen Casino here in Pine Bluff. And we've been talking about this BMW Z4 Roadster. And you may have heard that commercial a few moments ago where Carlton was talking about how simple it is. It is simple. 46 miles away, 40-minute drive right down the interstate right here to Saracen Casino. Get off at exit 46 and get that player's card. The more you play, the better chance you got to win. And there's going to be some other giveaways throughout the evening tomorrow night. I think the first giveaway is at 7 o'clock, and then it goes out throughout the evening until it capsules with the giveaway of the BMW Z4 Roadster from BMW of Little Rock. So it is black, has those black wheels, black tires. I mean, it's just when the gentleman fired it up a moment ago, had that little series of lights that go along the back fin, if you will, of the car. And I'm sure just one push of the button and that convertible top will come out and then secure in place if you want the top up. I love the top down. I know it's a little hot out there, a little muggy out there, but turn the air conditioner on. That was always an old trick. It can be hot. Roll the windows up. Believe it or not, roll the windows up. Turn the air conditioner on. Got the top down. And it was very comfortable. Make sure you have, you wear a hat like I do because sun shining brightly, you might get a few rays on top of the head. But nevertheless, this is one beautiful vehicle. They'll give it away tomorrow night at 10 o'clock here at Saracen in Pine Bluff. And we are now joined by Kevin McPherson, who's better known as Hoop Scoop, courtesy of Hogville.net. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Randy.
You may have heard.
If you were on earlier in the week, I wasn't with you. What about these two new players that Arkansas has added? You may have already told our audience, but I don't know a whole lot about them. What do they mean to the program?
Well, I think when we were hearing that, for a while we heard Calipari was just going to stop at 8 or 9 guys and explain why he really doesn't play more than that, and then why would he coach other guys to develop them for other programs? They're going to leave because they're not playing. He later, eventually, in some interviews and started talking about, well, actually after that, I'm going to have what he framed as walk-ons. And he said old scholarships, and he, kind of described what that meant. And these aren't guys, they have to have the understanding and expectation that they're not going to be planned for coming in for a top rotation role. They're not, they're really not part of the NIL pie, things of that nature. And so I've been kind of waiting to see what they actually did for a few weeks, because it's been a couple of weeks or so since Brazil was the last of the 9 guys that, that he is going to count on for his meaningful roles, to see what they might do. Might they get a Kamani Johnson kind of guy? Might they get somebody that, maybe not factored in the top group, but that could certainly plug in and help? I see these guys as being closer to traditional walk-ons in terms of, I don't know how they're going to chop it up with actual athletic scholarships or how they do it, but I see them more in line with the Lawson Blake, who's a returning walk-on. However they phrase it, if they call them scholarship players, I don't, to me, just looking at where they're coming from and the quality of the levels they played at, what they're ranked, these are not guys, when you look at them on the surface, that you're thinking are going to factor in to any kind of meaningful role. So I don't mean that to be disparaging. I don't know how else to say it. Because I've been waiting to see with this first recruiting class and this first roster, how is he actually going to backfill these 10, 11, and 12 spots that he's been talking about? Well, 2 guys added, one from Division II school, Hawaii Pacific. The other young man will be a freshman out of the Southern California area. There's not a lot out there on him. You didn't see any of the national media report on either one of these additions, not even a sniff of just a mention on a tweet. And again, I'm not trying to disparage them, but I think everything, when I look at it, when I look at the film, I add it all up, I see these as backfill guys that are basically effectively walk-on level type of guys. That's not to say they're not maybe a little bit a notch above a true walk-on in terms of an opportunity at some point, but it's more, reminiscent of that kind of role than it is somebody that I think will, likely be counted on to really step in. Now, with 9 guys, if you have a couple of injuries, foul trouble, some other things that just cave in on you, we're going to see these guys. At some point, that's a reality if something like that were to happen. Otherwise, I don't think we'll see them a whole lot unless it's a blowout, a mop-up time type of situation.
So, Kevin, I'm assuming you can give them scholarships because you get 13 and no NIL money. I get that. But other than getting a scholarship to come to Arkansas, what in the world convinced those guys to come? Did they just not have other offers?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a great question. It's something I've been going over with my, I've been thinking about this. Why? So for the young man coming out of high school, if he was not getting the kind of offers that he thought he should get, or, was thinking, well, you know what, I could transfer at any time. I can get experience playing in one of the best systems of all time, John Calipari, one of the best coaches and great coaches in there, and practice against really good players, and maybe it elevates me and develops me. And it may be that there's not a reality that I'll give myself a chance, and maybe I can develop and stick around, and maybe someday. So I can understand it more with him because a lot of freshmen, unless they're 5-stars, aren't expecting to necessarily play right away coming into a situation at Arkansas in the SEC. Even though more and more players want to, obviously, a lot of them, especially at his level where he's not in any of the rankings, probably could look at it as a chance to develop and then see what happens next. But for the young man that's been playing Division II basketball for 2 years and, started every game last year, he's leaving a place where he started and had success as a, playing into a situation where he's not, if he sees the floor, it's probably by default and not as part of a plan. And so I wonder, everybody's got their reasons. And I wondered about him more than the player that'll be a freshman.
Arkansas made the cut, so to speak, for Daryl Acuff Jr., one of the top 5-star guards in the entire country. Add Connecticut, Kansas, Michigan, pretty elite company there that Arkansas is being included in. I guess this is just another sign, if you will, that if you're in the top 10, 15 in the country, we're now going to see Arkansas's name maybe probably linked to a player like that. Is that how you kind of may see it, Kevin, going in the future, that Daryl Acuff may not, under the previous coaching staff, may not have considered Arkansas?
Well, remember, previous coaching staff, Eric Musselman, they did get 3 5-star one-and-dones in that one class, and they had a really strong class in 2020. But you're right, it was a bit scattered over the 5 years in terms of some of that, but it was a notch up from the level of recruiting of the previous staff, not disparaging Mike Anderson and his way of doing it, but we've seen a gradual. But with John Calipari, again, we're talking about an all-star recruiter, arguably the best of all time. So, yeah, I think this is going to be commonplace. I think he's going to get his share like he always does, and it doesn't surprise me at all. Darius Acuff Jr. visited when he was the head coach of Kentucky. He visited Arkansas, the first visitor ever for Calipari. That's not a transfer portal player, because we know the first thing he did was really start bringing in portal guys for this next roster. So the first high school recruit to visit. And that Final Four doesn't surprise me based on everything I've been hearing. There is at least one projection out there that thinks Arkansas will land his services. Darius Acuff Jr., 6'3" guard out of IMG Academy by way of Detroit, and like you said, national top 10 rated 5-star.
How much do you think it was, I guess you can say, worth to Arkansas the other night, where John Calipari was on hand for the first round there in New Jersey, and was able to, he ended up on the set with Stephen A. Smith and the others that were there as part of the ABC coverage of the draft. And Coach Cal starts rattling off like 70% of the players that he has signed end up in the NBA. I mean, that's a staggering number, is it not?
It is, and that that was great PR. Everyone knows who Calipari is. Everyone knows his track record. But you got to be on hand for those kind of things and make the most of those moments. He's a guy that the NBA, if you're going to have an NBA cover a draft, college players are a big part of that. We know international players are too now, but obviously college players always have been in big number, and he's the best to do it. So it makes sense for him to make the most of that opportunity, go and sell the program. What I find interesting, guys, if you remember last year's draft, I was in New York City to cover that because Arkansas had 3 players drafted, and Eric Musselman was in the house and in the green room and seeing with Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., and of course Jordan Walsh wasn't there in attendance. He got drafted that night early in the second round. But it's back-to-back years now that Arkansas's head coaches have been there, 2 different coaches. And, of course, Arkansas didn't have players in this draft. It's Kentucky players, but at the same time, Arkansas's head coaches there. So I think Arkansas's program was already showing momentum. Calipari moves the needle even more I think everything. I don't think recruiting, what we've seen so far, has been an issue at all. I love what he's done so far with his first roster. We see he's getting guys coming in to visit. We just talked about Darius Jacob Jr. But working that draft room, making sure you're there, and not some other coach being interviewed on ABC, the guy that's been the best to do it, because it helps the brand even more. He's going to put, as long as he's at Arkansas, we're going to see Arkansas send a lot more players to the NBA in the NBA draft.
Yeah, Dan Hurley was there, two-time now defending champion, and he didn't make it per se on the set. He did make it. At least I didn't see him on the set. He did make it as one of his players was being interviewed, and he was there with that particular player. Rick Barnes was there, and I didn't see him on the set. So, yeah, John Calipari, he's kind of like the Nick Saban. He's got the rock star type of following. Here's the other thing that Kevin was interesting. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. I hear the music, but Pat McAfee. He was on the Pat McAfee show the other day, and he laid out, you talked about that 8 or 9 players. He laid out his template, we think, going forward for his Arkansas, not only this year's roster, but maybe even certainly current or in the future rosters. All right, Drive Time Sports will continue.
Margarita Festival and the Great Arkansas Beer Festival returns at the State House Convention Center on Saturday, July 20th. Tickets are $40, and you can find out more at 1037thebuzz.com.
You're going to stand there and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy daisers, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
But Torpedo Joe's Fireworks Superstore does, just 4.5 miles west on Colonel Glenn past the Rave Theater. Torpedo Joe's is West Little Rock's go-to place for fireworks, including commercial show quality cakes and artillery shells, a 10% off discount for Buzz listeners, as well as military, fire, police, and EMTs. And yes, Torpedo Joe's Fireworks Superstore is air-conditioned.
Hi, it's Frank Fletcher from the Fletcher Dodge store here in Sherwood. Folks, if you're shopping for a new car or truck, I hope you'll come see us and give us a chance to earn your business. We have huge discounts, 0% financing available, and we'll give you $1,000 over Kelly Blue Book value for your trade-in. Folks, I guarantee you a hassle-free buying experience. And if you've had credit problems in the past, listen to this. We have an easy pre-approval process. Just go to FletcherCredit.com to get started. You can be pre-approved in minutes. It's really not hard. FletcherCredit.com. Folks, we're also still buying cars every day. If you got an old car or truck you want to turn into cash, bring it to Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood and ask for Chris or Andy. Shop Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood before you buy anywhere else. Shop in person or shop online at FletcherDeals.com. Thank you.
Try the new loaded fries of Slim Chickens. We're talking perfectly seasoned fries, fully loaded with all of your favorites, chopped hand-breaded tenders with that crispy bacon drizzled with house-made ranch sauce. Don't forget the shredded cheese and a little kick of sliced jalapenos. They're loaded. So grab a fork and dive in. Try the new Chicken Bacon Ranch. Loaded fries at Slim Chickens at select locations for a limited time.
It's the Great American Boat Sale, going on now at all 6 Bradford Marine and ATV statewide locations. All remaining Ranger and Sun Tracker pontoons, available with discounts of over $10,000 with great on-the-spot financing. Ranger fiberglass bass boats at rock-bottom pricing. Buy today, play today. Don't miss the July 4th Great American Boat Sale at all 6 Bradford Marine and ATV statewide locations. Bradford Marine and ATV, selling fun since 1971.
The all-new Lumber One and Design One in West Little Rock is now open. Over 100,000 square feet of hardware, outdoor appliances, a window and door center, and even a drive-through lumber yard. And there's nothing like Design One. This stunning showroom is one place for all your home and design needs, including 12 full kitchens and 9 baths, plus a huge selection of lighting, flooring, countertops, and more. At the all-new Lumber One and Design One, now open in West Little Rock.
Welcome back to Drive Time Sports, live from the Eat My Catfish studios, where it's much like any of the 7 Eat My Catfish locations, minus the always fresh, delicious food options like the family pack catfish dinners. You're in hog heaven. This is Drive Time Sports, a presentation of the Buzz Radio Network.
In America, it's hard to believe that there are people starving to death all over the world, and they're in the low thousands every day. It's pretty amazing that happens, and a lot of them are young people. So the Samuelson family decided they wanted to do something about it, and that's when they started Tacos for Life. They're in their 10th year. They serve absolutely delicious food, and for every meal that's served at Tacos for Life, they provide a meal for someone that's food insufficient. And so you think about it, they've provided nearly 36 million meals during those 9 years. Now in their 10th year, their goal is to provide 10 million meals in 1 year. They're already over the million mark in the first month. You can help them eat those delicious tacos, salads, quesadillas, whichever you like. You're going to like them all. That provides a meal. If you buy the sopapillas for dessert, that provides 2 meals for someone that's actually hungry. You're going to love the food you eat. It's the highest quality. I love their tacos. You will too. Tacos for Life.
And that is Rick Schaefer. I am Randy Rainwater. We are joined again by Kevin McPherson, better known as Hoop Scoop, courtesy of hogville.net. Kevin, today I'm here in Pine Bluff. Someone's got to do it, right? I've got to be the one that comes down to Saracen and look, I'm about 8 feet, maybe 10 feet max away from one of the dream vehicles. Now, I know Rick blasted me earlier, different Rick, blasted me earlier. Rick may be blasting me when he turns his microphone off. I don't know. But this is one of those dream cars that you can only imagine driving. I mean, I say imagine because you go to, in this case, BMW of Little Rock. They may not even have one on their showroom because that's how rare these vehicles are. But it is the black Z4 Roadster. And the way that you win it, and we're talking tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, that's when they're going to give this Roadster away. You must be present to win, but if you got that player's card, use it. Accumulate points. If not, Carlton's already said you'll get your free player's card, and they'll give you some money to start with. So come on down, enjoy yourself, play, and maybe you'll be the lucky one that walks home tomorrow night with the keys to this BMW Z4 Roadster from BMW of Little Rock. I was teasing a little bit, Kevin, right before the break when I was talking about on the Pat McAfee show the other day, and I guess Coach Cal's making the national tour, kind of like the car wash with ESPN. He's been on Jim Rome. He's now been on Pat McAfee. And he was talking about his template that he wants to use. He wants to retain at least a couple of players every year. He wants to sign upwards to 3 freshmen every year. And then he wants to have at least 3 players out of the transfer portal. That appears to his new mix. Now, if my math is correct, that's only like 7 or 8 players. So I'm guessing that could change. That formula could change by A, the number of returnees that he wants to bring back, B, the number of high school kids he wants to sign, and then, of course, the number, it could change the number of players he wants to bring in from the transfer portal. But the number is still going to be pretty much, Kevin, kind of what we've talked about, anywhere between that 8 and 9 number. And then he'll fill in the roster, which Rick has already asked about and talked about, the 2 players who are coming in, the high school player and the D2 transfer. That's going to fill the roster out, but they're not going to be expected to be primetime performers. But as you were talking a few moments ago, I do remind people, if you were watching the NCAA tournament, Houston got into foul and injury problems. And a guy that hadn't played but maybe 5 games all season long was pressed into service. He knocked down a couple of free throws, if I remember correctly. I don't think he scored a basket, but he was pressed into service in a game that went into overtime, and he was forced to play. So who knows if these 2 guys that they've added on now, and if they add on others, may have to be called upon in a crucial situation. But nevertheless, the template, I think all that to say this: the template. It sounds like John Calipari keeps adjusting this template as he's trying to get closer to the mix that he actually wants.
Yeah, I mean, he's described it, and so far what he's done in this first class reflects what he's been describing. So he had a plan. He's got a plan, and the first group reflects that plan. You know, I think, again, you know, if he's saying I'm only going to have 8 or 9 guys that I'm really riding with, and we're going to get them the NIL money, they're going to be in the top group. You know, the guys he's brought in, again, it's not to disparage them, but they're really not projected to be part of this rotation. But anything can happen, and that's why you don't want to be stuck with only 9 players. Again, you want to get through practices. You want to have enough bodies on the floor. If you're in a real pinch for any reason, a combination of injuries and foul trouble, whatever, then I could see the kid that's played Division II ball potentially getting on the court at some point in a situation like that. There's going to be games that are blowout. We're going to see these guys get on the court. It's not like they're going to be hidden away. Even walk-ons play a little bit. But, again, I think just by looking at it, the fact these guys, I mean, you don't see who Arkansas beat out for. Because, you know, similar to a walk-on, it's not about out-recruiting somebody else for these guys. You know, they're coming to Arkansas for whatever their reasons are. They're not factored into the plans for what we're going to see on the court, but it doesn't mean they don't bring value to help Arkansas's player. Like I said, the practice part of it, and then if in a pinch, you've got guys that can come in. What kind of quality drop-off do you have there if you really count on them? I mean, I guess that would play out, but certainly I don't look at these guys and say, you know what, one or both of these guys has a real shot at winning a spot by the time October rolls around. I just don't think that's very, very likely. I'd say it's very much a long shot.
Rick, is it, and Kevin, you probably can answer this too, but these are full scholarships. Is it permissible that these could be broke? Kevin was talking about divvying up the scholarships. Can you split these scholarships? Can like 50%?
They're full scholarships.
Full scholarships.
Full scholarships. Yeah. In basketball and football, they're full scholarships.
Yeah.
Because they're going to count as a full scholarship whether you give it to them or not. I guess you could, but it counts as a full. If you say we're just going to give you tuition, it's still on your 13 scholarship players.
Right.
But I've never heard of anybody doing that. Why would you?
Yeah, so again, we're so used to coaches filling out their 13 or trying to if they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't get there for whatever reason, but when we think of scholarship players, we think of guys that have some kind of a chance. We talked a lot about Musselman's teams. There's a lot of talent in there. He's only going to go 7 or 8 deep. This is genuinely a situation where he stopped at 9. It's only a technicality these guys will be on scholarship, in my opinion. I don't view them as traditional scholarship type players that you recruited to factor in. As hard as that is to say without just coming across as just sounding like I'm completely disrespecting the players, there is more of a walk-on value to what these guys are bringing than what we would traditionally think about scholarship.
Right.
But no, technically, they're I guess, aren't walk-ons.
What about the previous walk-ons? You mentioned Lawson. Is he still in the mix in any way?
As far as I know, and let's not forget, it's not to say that a walk-on can be. Let's go back in history. You can go back to guys, all the way back, even recently, not that long ago. Manny Watkins, Pico Hadar, Chris Walker, Ernie Murray. Arkansas had walk-ons that were brought in to be walk-ons and not necessarily help in practice and not necessarily factor in. And all those guys had roles and actually earned their way in. There was more than that. I think Guy Whitney was a walk-on at one point. Sometimes those things happen, but and again, these guys, I guess, technically aren't, but they've seen that caliber in terms of relative to how they were recruited, who's maybe not